área tem 42 dias de transplantado, né? É de plantado a planta lá de 45 dias já.
In this farm, zero. Everything is handmade. There's no
So you do it like that. Each
machines.
person digs
Every person digs a hole. We do have tractors to move the land at the beginning, right? But
Where do you get your chemicals from for the?
where we get our fertilizers and everything else, we get it from. There's two companies in the country that really handle that. And Fersan.
Try Univar. I can get you whatever you want.
So my agronomer tells me we have to walk a little further. He's not going to let us harvest here because this one is not ready right now. We harvest this not too long
I've
ago.
never seen this type of tobacco leaf. What is this called?
This is a very special type of tobacco leaf known as corn nicotiana. Corn nicotiana.
That must be special.
Willy, párame corte ahí.
Through here.
Que pare ahí para coger esa línea.
The tobacco to my right has 25 days.
25 dias, assim. Aquele outro ali, 42. Esse aqui todo 25, falou, né? Acho que 20.
Question, being that you own the land, are you allowed to plant
How many
anything
days?
else?
23?
We can plant anything else.
Okay.
Yes.
So like, let's say if something's resting, is there another plant that you can plant to kind of bring the nutrients back to the soil, or any plant that you plant will just take
That's
from
a
the...
good question. If, let's say, so the question is, when you're letting the land rest, is there anything else that you can plant in between, right? In this particular farm, I don't plant anything.
Okay.
I just let the land rest, just let it go wild. Why? Also because thank God we don't depend as a family on this farm economically. People that depend on their plot of land have to grow year round. You know, tobacco is a crop that in a very small plot of land you can keep your family stable for the rest of the year with one crop. But of course they want to make more money, so they plant something else. What is normally suggested is you don't plant anything that might bring a disease to tobacco. So for example, tobacco is a solanaceae plant, nightshade plant, so nothing that is in the similar family, like tomatoes. You plant tomatoes, tomato virus could come in, and then your next crop for tobacco, done.
Is the virus in the soil?
No, it's a virus in an insect, and it can spread really bad. So if there's tomatoes, neighbors that plants tomatoes, it could be bad for tobacco. But what is normally recommended is some sort of plant that is like a shrubbery, like a shrub. So low, a lot of microbiological activity, something that covers the whole farm. Sometimes beans is recommended. Beans or some people just plant beans and then smash it up into the ground to add nutrients into the soil.
Okay.
So there's different little things. Just try to make sure that it's nothing that is of the same family, you know, because then it could be really bad for your next crop.
Can you plant corn too? Corn?
Oh, no.
Maíz? No, maíz
No,
no.
maize, no. Corn is just not gonna help. But in this case, the reason why you see corn is because that corn acts like a wall. So what we can do is we can fumigate the corn, and that way it's not being fumigated, the tobacco is not being fumigated directly, and it acts as a wall for insects. Also, it's a wall against stupidity. People walking and kicking it, and you have no idea how many people just walk by the tobacco and just break leaves. You don't want broken leaves. Also, the rows, the first row is always the row that gets hit the most. You can always see the first rows, it's always not so good, you know?
Question.
question.
How high are we here? 150 meters over sea?
My dad might know the exact answer to that question. La elevación que nosotros estamos aquí en Jicoma.
Aquí debe estar como hay un 120 metros.
120 meters above sea level.
And how high can you go to climb?
Not too much higher.
No, in Dominican Republic, all the areas of tobacco
Are low.
is less than 300 meters.
Oh, wow.
And another place is higher. For example, Nicaragua, it's only 800 meters. And they have a big problem this year because the winter is too cold. And 800 meters, you have at least 5 centigrade less. And the tobacco before 16 is very bad for the tobacco.
Okay.
This is one reason. No? Another reason is the blue mold. It's a combination of the cool weather with humid. And when you rain too much and you have 16 degrees, now it's 23, 24, no, here. It's a problem. It's a problem. We planting 120 more or less, more than 120 meters. In Cuba, where Tabajo is too low, 40 meters only. Thank you.
So, master, apprentice. There you go. That you can see the difference.
You know, I grow in tobacco at 1,000 meters, but in Colombia, more close to the equator, and in the summertime, no,
Okay.
not cold,
Yeah, yeah.
not cold.
So, let's do a little bit of harvest. We're a little bit behind schedule because I want to go into the curing barn. What's harvest? More or less after days, right? What happens if you go above 60 days? That was a question that was asked, right? More or less around 60 days, you're gonna start seeing changes in the leaf. First, physical changes, right? The intense green is gonna become a lighter yellowish green. So you can see this leaf, you can already start seeing some yellow in the corners and between the veins. The color is less intense green. That's the leaf maturing, right? If you harvest the leaf too late, the leaf is gonna be very mature. And there's people that harvest very late, using tobacco for different things. For example, there's stock cut, which basically they harvest the whole plant and hang it, and they harvest that very late. Sometimes the bottom leaves being very yellow. The first leaves to mature are always the bottom leaves. They are the first leaves. They are the oldest leaves. And that's why you harvest from bottom up. Over there, you saw that only the top of the tobacco was still left. So, more or less, you can divide the plant in 4 levels, right?
No, madura, mira cómo va perdiendo
So
amarillo.
there's a perfect example of all the yellows, you know, already maturing. You don't want that to happen.
Lose
on the
chlorophyll,
farm.
no?
You want that to happen
That means
inside
it's
the
mature.
curing
It's no
barn,
problem
where
with
it's
the whole.
Yes,
protected,
it's a problem.
humidity
It's no
controlled,
binder now.
temperature.
It's a filler.
Yeah.
It's a filler.
Okay.
You lose $3 per pound, no?
Now we're talking about prices.
That's the difference. Yeah.
That's the difference.
Sure.
You can divide. Déjame hablar, papi. Déjame hablar. You can divide the plant in more or less 4 levels. The bottom of the plant is called, in terms of levels, volado. So you got volado, seco, visus, and ligero. Ligero is the strongest part of the plant, the strongest tobacco. Volado, the bottom, is the softest. Ligero is more or less 3 times stronger than volado. It also has 3 times more nicotine in the leaf. So when you make blends, it's very important to separate each one of these levels throughout the whole process. If you have a cigar that is very light and you by mistake put a tobacco from Visus, the 3rd level, that tobacco is immediately going to be much stronger. So it is important that even from the moment of harvest, these tobaccos are separated all the way through. In the factory, you will see some places where we actually have extra steps to make sure that we are in the right level and we're not mixing that up. To maintain a blend consistent, the most important thing is the level of the plant.
And the crop. Because different crop, you have different level of strength in the same position. For example, this year, the rain more and less light, less sun. In average, it's a light crop, and you need to separate the crop too, because when you make you need to reblender 1 year for because you finished some type of tobacco for the crop 5 years ago. You need to know that because, for example, if you use a Visus, the third level, for the certain trends, maybe you need to use the top left because less photosynthesis, less sun. More rain, more dilution of the nutrients. The plant takes more water. And for this reason, not only level, crop. Of course, seed and soil.
So what he's talking about is the factors. So in regards to taste, the combination of the soil and the seed is what's going to give you the particular type of taste. But in regards to the level of intensity of strength of that tobacco is going to be determined by the level and then, of course, the year or that crop. So much more sun, stronger tobacco, more rain, more clouds, dilution of the nutrients because the water washes away the nutrients, so softer tobacco. So climate and level gives you the intensity, and then taste is determined by the soil composition and the seed, right? So another thing that tells you this tobacco is ready besides the color is gotta find a good example. This leaf, you can see the angle is up, right? 45-degree angle up. This leaf is going down. And when we get romantic and we want to romanticize this step, we say that the leaf is bowing down to the soil, saying thank you for all the nutrients, all the water that it gave it, and that I'm ready to go on my journey. It's changing its dress, it's changing its color. One day it hopes to be a nice, beautiful brown leaf and make it into a Davidoff cigar, right? So this leaf is going to want to leave, and it's not going to resist. I try to harvest this one. This one is very flexible. Like, I can't break it. And if I try to break it, I might damage it. This one, easy crack. So this one is very ready to go into a curing bar.
And that's the way you want it, complete, clean.
This is a perfect example of a seco. And hopefully no breakages. There are no damages on this leaf. That doesn't really count there. And this might make it because of its size. This side might make it as a binder. This side will probably be filler. This is a filler binder farm.
So in other words, that's an extra $3.
This side.
Yeah,
Yeah. This side.
$3.
In general, this is a binder and filler farm, not a wrapper farm. Yamasa is a wrapper farm, but the next step is probably even more important, which is the curing barn. The curing is almost like our second crop of the year, because if we can do everything perfect, we can have a beautiful leaf here, but if we mess it up inside of the curing barn, we already worked and invested for the last 4 months. Imagine if we ruined it in the last 45 days. So I'm gonna let you guys harvest. One leaf, always the most bottom leaf, never from the top, always the most bottom leaf. Don't get mixed up with that. And don't harvest from the same plant. Because if you harvest from the same plant, you're not getting the most bottom leaf. Look for the signs, look for the yellows, and it has to be facing down, and it should not resist. So go at it, break my leaves. Yeah.
Your heart is bleeding.
Please, you can come in. There's a lane over there where you guys can walk through. And once you're done with the leaf, come bring it to me and I'll grab it.